Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're getting excited for another episode here today. I know I am. I'm learning a ton from all of our experts. Before we start though, I kind of want to talk to you about something that's really important, something we've focused on our whole careers for other people: wellness. We've worked so hard to keep them well. And I don't know about you, but if you're anything like me, in the last month and a half, I've learned an awful lot about needing to keep myself well. We need to keep ourselves well. So as we launch the Digital Academy on igniteDDS.com, that's going to be awesome, FYI. We decided we'd lead the charge with a wellness page, a yoga page. So I'm personally inviting y'all to join us 9 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday mornings Eastern Time on igniteDDS.com/yoga for our session to help you stay healthy. We've got meditation sessions, we've got yoga sessions coming in. So join us, igniteDDS.com/yoga. We want to help you guys stay well too. Cheers.
Hey everyone, it is Kevin Henry, the co-founder of igniteDA and the editor-in-chief for drbycuspid.com. Honored today to be joined by a good friend and one of the knowledgeable experts out there whenever it comes to HR in the dental industry, and that is Tim Twigg of Bent Erickson. Tim, how are you today?
Hey, I am great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being on. You know, you are a wanted man right now. I know that. I know that you're getting so many questions right now from dentists, team members, and as we start to ramp back up toward reopening, I'm just going to ask you a real broad question to start. What's one of the biggest questions that you're getting right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I think the biggest question is really wrapped up in the challenge that most dentists and dental offices and even team members for that matter are just wrestling with. And that is all the moving parts.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if I had a dental practice and I blew out a water line and it flooded an operatory, okay, I'm going to mop all that up. We're going to fix it. And in a day or two, we're back and just pick up right where we left off. And at this point, we've got state and local mandates, you've got CDC guidelines, you've got OSHA guidelines, you've got ADA guidelines, you've got FFCRA, you've got the CARES Act, you've got all the unemployment wrinkles, you've got EIDL loans, PPP forgiveness. And then there is this reopening. And there's going to be fears and concerns. And those fears and concerns are going to both be on the part of employees as well as patients. And then there is this whole slew of what are going to be, as you well know, new normals. And new normals procedurally, new normals clinically, new normals administratively. And so some people, understandably, their heads are about ready to explode.
Yeah, and I know you're hearing from them. I know we're hearing from them. And you know, again, I'm so thankful for your time. You know, you mentioned the unemployment side of things. And I know a lot of team members were put on unemployment whenever all this happened.
Sure.
Is there anything that they need to know or the dentists need to know about possibly coming back off and then being rehired to start this up again?
Yeah, sure. Let me rewind and we'll just do a tiny bit of norming relative to unemployment. So unemployment is run individually by every single state. Every state has their own formulas, their own calculations for determining eligibility and determining how much someone gets. Regardless of the difference that exists with each state, unemployment, when it's all said and done, pretty much calculates out that you'll be receiving on a weekly basis about half of what you normally make. So if you're a DA and you make $2,400 in a month, that works out to be about $600 a week, and about half of that, $300. So you would be eligible for unemployment benefits of $300. But wait, there's more, because each state throws on caps. And they max out how much you can get regardless of the calculation. Now, you're in Colorado. Colorado's max is $618 a month. But if you were an employee in Florida, Florida's cap is $275 a month. So the calculation may come out that you would be eligible for $300, but if you're in Florida, you're only going to get the $275.
Interesting.
So there's this big wide range of these caps. Now, as you know, in the CARES Act was built in this additional $600 that would go to employees. I refer to it kind of as a kicker. So if you were in Florida and the calculation was $275, then they add this $600 to it, and you would be getting $875. Now, if you're in Colorado, where I said the max is $618, but the calculation turns out to be $300 in Colorado, you're only going to get the $300 because that's where it maxes. But then we add the $600, so in Colorado, I could be getting $900. There are a lot of dentists in particular that were like freaking out about this. It's like, oh my gosh, this is almost like encouraging people to be on unemployment because they're potentially making more money on unemployment than they would make if they were working. Yes, to a degree, the calculation kind of reflects that if you just take a real upper level cut at it. But you have to remember that there's a waiting period for unemployment in most states, and it's anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. And then there's a processing time of how long it takes for them to process everything and get the unemployment checks on the way. And processing can be another 2 to 4 weeks. And especially with the sheer numbers of people who have been applying for unemployment, those processing times have been longer. So that means there's a whole lot of employees who conceivably went for 4 weeks or 5 weeks with nothing. And so now this extra $600, when I look at it from that perspective, I don't go, oh, this isn't highway robbery. Holy cow, this is just trying to catch up a little bit and support people getting whole in terms of income. It's also important to note that this $600 kicker goes away July 31st. So this isn't going to go forever. And the theory is that dental offices will be able to reopen, regardless of whether it's a phased approach or a not phased approach. They will be able to be reopened. And by July 31st, there won't be the need for this additional assistance. So there's a little bit with that. Now, there's a couple of other nuances that I want to just real quickly.
Of course.
You can get, for unemployment, you can get what are called full benefits, but you can also get partial benefits. And what that means is you can still work, receive compensation for the work you do, and be eligible for unemployment. To be eligible for this magic little $600, your unemployment for a given week just has to be $1. As long as you're getting $1 in unemployment, you still get the $600. So as a dentist, I might look at you and say, well, Kevin, you normally make $600 a week, but you're eligible here for the $300. Let's divide your hourly rate into the $300 to see how many hours that represents. And I could actually have you come and work for me for anything less than that, because unemployment will just subtract off whatever compensation I pay you. And as long as the remainder is still $1, you get the $600. And to me, there's a way that dentists can really work with team members, and team members can work with the practice by still doing some work, calling people, scheduling people, rescheduling, so that we make sure we have a full schedule and something to really springboard off of when we're able to reopen. Does that all make sense?
It does, and it makes me real thankful I went to journalism school and that you know the numbers, not me. I can tell you that. And again, viewers, this is why there are HR experts out there like Tim. And I mean, I will tell you, things like this is obviously some muddy times, and trying to navigate all this. Make sure that you're talking to an expert, and we're going to make sure that Tim gives his information at the end of this. Tim, let me ask you one other question. I know I've heard from some hygienists that are very worried about when practices go back open. Is it safe for them? Is there anything that hygienists, dentists, anybody else need to know about being, quote, required to come back in when the practice opens up?
Well, two issues with that. And one is certainly the safety side. And I'll just say that every single practice, from my vantage point, has three primary objectives that need to be met or looked at in the reopening. And the first one is the absolute safety of the patients and the employees, and doing everything to ensure there is the lowest risk possible of any kind of contamination or any kind of contracting of COVID-19. And certainly then there's the objective of, well, all of this has to be done in a financially responsible way, so that when we open, everything from expenses and revenue and patient load is all explored and examined and looked at and in the same way. We've all read about the scarcity of supplies and equipment, particularly PPEs. And so this is where a dental office is really going to have to, again, one of these other moving parts, to make sure that all the bases are being covered when they go to open up. It's not going to do a whole lot of good to say, woohoo, we're open, and we don't have the supplies, or we don't have the PPEs. Or to say, woohoo, we're open, and we've got all our supplies and our equipment, but we don't have any patients because we haven't been communicating with them about some of these issues and ways to feel confident and safe that we're taking into account their health, safety, and well-being. On the clinical side, and you and I well know all kinds of colleagues we have that are the really brainiacs when it comes to OSHA and things like that. So the whole issues of aerosol, the whole issue of then masks, the whole issue of negative pressure rooms, the whole issue of, higher pressure evacuation systems to keep that risk of aerosol and, contamination down. There's issues about how much time it's going to take now before and during and after treatment to ensure that whatever these new normals are and safety issues are taken into account. Now, to your question, when it was like coming back or not coming back, if I have employment for you, particularly if the employment for you is virtually exactly what it was before all this happened, and if there are no state or local mandates about shelter in place or schools being closed or daycare, so, if all those things are lifted and I offer you employment, you're supposed to take it. If you don't take that opportunity, you then run the risk of losing any and all of your unemployment. And so it is in your best interest to accept that work. It's always an employee's prerogative to say, no, I don't want to come back to work. But the only time that becomes more like a legitimate based reason is if this person is citing health and safety concerns, and that's more OSHA related kinds of things. And that's just back to the dentist in the office, just making sure that they're crossing T's and dotting I's with all those things. So that is not a legitimate piece on the part of the employee.
It's amazing all the different things that are in motion right now. And I know, Tim, you're obviously keeping on top of everything. And I know it's also changing almost on a daily basis and state by state, like you said. And my goodness, I've heard some people say county by county. It's kind of scary to think how
Yeah, there are.
scroll down. Yeah. So, Tim, would you just make sure to give your contact info or how they can get a hold of Ben Erickson, just to, if they've got questions or want more information? Because I know there's a ton of that out there right now.
Yeah, just real quickly, phone number 800-679-2760. And from an email standpoint, it's really easy, just info@benterickson.com. The only tricky part about that is Erickson is spelled with an E-N at the end instead of an O-N. So ERICKSEN.
And we're going to make sure that we put a link to that down below so that you'll be able to click on it and get these resources, or at least get in touch with Tim and the amazing team that is there. Tim, I look forward to actually shaking your hand and maybe going to a baseball game sometime soon. How about you?
Yes, I do too. You and I both are lamenting the postponement or delay of baseball season.
Yeah, the endless winter, endless off season. So, but thank you for joining us, and thanks to all of you for watching today. I know you've got a lot of questions about what's going on with HR, and so thankful to Tim for taking a few minutes out of his busy schedule. And we will be back soon with another episode of our Thought Leader videos here. Thanks to Care Credit and Patterson Dental for their help. And for now, Kevin Henry signing off, wishing you safety and health ahead.